Am I the butthole for missing most of my daughter's wedding after she scheduled hers a day after my stepdaughter's wedding even though I tried to be there? My daughter has always been resentful of my stepdaughter, and growing up, we've had to deal with a lot of issues related to this resentment. The unfortunate reality was that my ex and I had shared custody, so naturally, I saw my daughter less than my stepdaughter. My stepdaughter's biological father passed away and I've treated her like my own since she was 2. I love them both equally and I've never shown preferential treatment towards my stepdaughter, something my daughter always accuses me of. In 2019, my stepdaughter sent out a save the date for her wedding for a Saturday in September. My daughter immediately called me, furious and accusing her stepsister of deliberately planning her wedding the day before hers. My daughter sent her own save the date a week later for the Sunday on that same weekend. I talked to my stepdaughter, who said it was pure coincidence and that she doesn't even talk to my daughter after all those years of them not getting along. The issue was that my daughter's wedding was happening in another state that is a 13-hour drive away. And both of them wanted me to walk them down the aisle. All of my extended family chose to attend my daughter's wedding over my stepdaughter's. I did the math and I calculated that if I left my stepdaughter's wedding at 10 p.m. and drove through the night, I'd make it with 2 hours to freshen up and get ready. Unfortunately, I got lost along the way plus traffic and I missed the actual wedding ceremony. My daughter's stepfather ended up walking her down the aisle by himself. I feel like I tried my best to make both my children happy, but I failed one of them completely. My stepdaughter and her husband have been attacked on Facebook by my daughter's friends who am claiming that my stepdaughter planned it on purpose. And when I tried to clear up the situation, I was completely shut down. I gave my daughter and son-in-law an additional gift of money to go to Japan, which has always been their dream. It was a lot of money, but I hoped it would be a sort of way for me to ask forgiveness. They had to postpone their trip because of COVID, but my daughter refuses to even consider any sort of forgiveness. The few times she picks up my calls always ends with her bringing up the wedding and getting angry at me again. I was told by a few members of my family that I was the butthole for not prioritizing my biological child's wedding and skipping my stepdaughter's wedding instead. Am I the butthole? You're the butthole. Word of advice. Original poster. The reason why she isn't satisfied is that she never wanted the money or expensive gifts, she just wanted her dad. I feel like this was a pattern for her growing up. I know it was beyond your control and you say there was no favoritism. It probably came off that way. You're not an butthole for trying to be there for both of them. You're the butthole for being blind, thinking you can buy her off. My first thought was to wonder why original poster didn't book a flight instead of driving 13 hours. Surely if original poster has money to splash for a holiday for his daughter, he could have booked a plane and hire car. Original poster replied in one of the comments that it'd take longer. Did he also say why he did not leave the reception earlier? Friend of wife said it'd be rude for the father of the bride to leave early. It is also rude to miss the ceremony of his other daughter. He should have left earlier. Driving this long with no sleep and only 2 hours to spare was never a good idea to begin with. I'm guessing the friend didn't know or didn't care about the other wedding. Original poster should have made up his own mind. There is always an exception. The woman who said that was close enough to the stepdaughter to be helping plan the wedding. Obviously she wasn't the most neutral person. I was waiting for this. SD gets fresh, wide awake and present original poster for wedding and reception. Best case, D gets exhausted, sleep-deprived original poster. Guess which kid is the fave? Original poster should have planned to leave earlier. I so feel for his daughter. Even if the stars had aligned on his stupid plan, and he'd gotten there in time, would he even have been awake for her wedding? He was in SD ceremony and reception, and probably was active earlier in the day getting ready and such, plus 13 hours drive. His daughter would have gotten a half-asleep zombie, probably with a dirty and wrinkled tux. I imagine he used the same one for both weddings, due to timing. No wonder the daughter thinks she favors SD. This is a girl who, through no fault of her own, has always spent less time with her dad than her sister. This was a milestone day for her, and all she would get, best case scenario, were the scraps that were left from sister's day. And then she didn't even get that. Sure, it wasn't the sister's fault either, but saying she shouldn't be upset, and then trying to buy her off? Wow. Original poster, you're the butthole. You are such a butthole. I'm laughing at this absolute crap excuse. Oh, it would have been rude? Unlike the original plan of showing up on no sleep? He just had to obey his friend's wife? Who is she, the etiquette police? Here's what would have happened: people at the wedding. Oh, where is your dad? Bride, my sister is getting married tomorrow, and he needs to be there. People at wedding. Oh, okay, and then everyone dances on. This was a scheduling issue that could have been accommodated. Original poster effed up by prioritizing one daughter over the other, and it seems like the final slap in the face to someone who's tired of being out second. Even if it was legitimately faster, you can sleep on a plane. He would have a better chance of enjoying his daughter's wedding with a few hours of sleep. Also, driving 13 hours with no sleep is dangerous. Getting into a crash while sleep-deprived sounds like a great way to ruin both weddings. I know it was beyond your control. Hard disagree on this part. He didn't leave until 10 p.m. to start the drive. He stayed for the entire reception. I know it was beyond your control, and you say there was no favoritism. I'd say that if a poll was taken, the percentage of parents who would state that they had a favorite child would be a lot lower than the percentage of children who stated that their parent had a favorite child. In this case, I wonder if there might have been an element of subconscious favoritism towards the stepdaughter on the original poster's part in response to a perception that she was the unfavored in other relatives' eyes. He said that his extended family all chose to attend his daughter's wedding over his stepdaughter's. Perhaps this contributed to him feeling like he couldn't leave his stepdaughter's wedding reception any earlier than he did. You're the butthole, obviously. Let's acknowledge the different steps here. Daughter and stepdaughter have an antagonist relationship. Original poster claims he has never given either a preference, but does acknowledge he spent less time with daughter due to shared custody. Let's assume he did his best as a father and tried to save some special daughter bonding time just for the two of them. That's a big if. Not the butthole so far. Original poster is so disengaged he doesn't know before the save the dates that his two daughters are planning to marry the same weekend. Not the butthole so far, but billions of minus points for not being involved. Honestly, this baffles me. Rather than sit down with both daughters and explain that they are putting him in an impossible situation, he double downs and makes a clear choice by setting up a crazy plan. You're the butthole. Original poster could have chosen to say he won't walk other girls down the aisle until they resolve this together. I'm not a parent, but I've come up with a better plan than he has in 5 minutes. Original poster also is you're the butthole for a plan that involves him driving 10 hours. Dangerous. Even truck drivers have to make stops. Original poster triple downs by listening to random lady at stepdaughter wedding and only leaving at 10 p.m. Staying the whole reception. You're the butthole 100%. Original poster implodes into absolute you're the butthole by thinking money for a trip will repair the feeling of anger and resentment the daughter has clearly built up. He clearly doesn't seem to acknowledge the deep hurt he has created in the past. Honestly, I don't know how I could forgive my own father if he did this. Your best option, original poster, is to apologize for all the above, recognize the harm you've done, and hope for your daughter's sake and your own that she's forgiving. I'm sorry if that was harsh and maybe I missed STHG, but honestly at this stage I am angry for her. I know it was beyond your control. He left at 10 p.m. He was fully in control of when he left. Why else did he calculate to the very last second how much time he needed to get there? You're the butthole. You have two daughters who were engaged and planning weddings, and you were so disengaged that you didn't even know what month they were both looking at for the wedding. Were you even talking to them about it? Then, knowing that your daughter struggles with you being more present in the stepdaughter's life than hers, you prioritize the stepdaughter's reception over being sure you'd be present at your daughter's wedding. Yeah, I can see why she is upset. You can say you have good intentions, but that's not going to change the perception that she has, that you didn't care for years, and even on this day, you picked someone else. Hard disagree. I'm wedding planning right now, and I guarantee that my parents don't know our date off the top of their heads, especially because these things change as venues and catering and such are figured out. The entire purpose of a save the date is to share your finalized date and location with your family and guests. I agree with you. I think as soon as original poster realized the clash, he should have organized a Zoom call for them all to work it out so no one would be disappointed or driving through the night. Or, and hear me out now, they could leave before 10 p.m. Yeah. He could have left a lot earlier than 10 p.m. Eat the dinner, have some cake, have the appropriate dances and leave. Original poster didn't prioritize one wedding over the other, he prioritized a reception over a wedding. But his daughters were past the planning stage. They were at the date is confirmed stage. Surely before you lock in your date, you're going to quickly double-check with all the most important people, i.e. parents and siblings, that there are no conflicts with the date you have in mind? I know I did with my wedding. It must have come up in conversation at least once with both of them that they were looking at weekends in September. .fo was your first time hearing about these weddings the day you received the save the dates? Did neither of your daughters share possible dates with you beforehand? Was bio daughter invited to stepdaughter's wedding? And why didn't you leave until 10 p.m.? AITA. Everyone sucks here, you bio daughter, because she didn't help any of the drama at best, and at worst purposefully caused the drama. You for thinking 2 hours is a good buffer after a 13-hour drive that you started at 10 p.m. after a wedding. You would have walked down that aisle looking like a zombie even after a shower. Rude to your daughter, for not leaving until 10 p.m. Friend's opinion, or not, you did choose your stepdaughter over your bio daughter. If you expect your bio daughter to get over her bio father who was supposed to walk her down the aisle not even being there, why wouldn't you expect your stepdaughter to understand you had to leave her party to walk your other daughter down the aisle? The way you phrase the "unfortunately stepdaughter lived with me full time, so I had more time with her," in my opinion sounds like a justification for the same performative effort but lack of actual effort and care taken in this matter. You are at fault at least as much as her in this. Yeah, I am with you. Original poster posted a lot of mood information here. How did he not know they were both planning weddings around the same time? Original poster makes a good spin too. It took reading these comments to get it because I too was locked into his mindset. The truth is original poster does love his stepdaughter more. Because he raised her more and was around her more. But he won't even admit that to himself, and instead dismisses the hurt that causes his bio daughter as invented or in her head. And yes, bio daughter's a little crafty for doing this obvious test. She could have changed the date and accommodated original poster more. But hey, now she knows for sure. No matter what original poster says, he does have a favorite. I bet she feels less crazy for thinking so now that he's proven that. I actually disagree about the everyone sucks here and blaming bio daughter. There are a lot of subtle digs original poster makes about his bio child seeming to doubt her motives, but he conveniently leaves out info that would be unflattering to his wife and other daughter. Like, given that original poster had another wedding to attend, I'm surprised his wife and daughter didn't immediately understand he'd have to leave after the ceremony or at the very latest, after the pictures. They had months to come to terms with it. Instead, he chose to prioritize wedding number 1 and is shocked his daughter has had enough. You could have left right after the ceremony instead of at 10 p.m. Agreed. 13-hour drive? Absolutely should have left right after the ceremony, which are at max 1 hour long. A 2-hour buffer with a sleepless night is no way to attend your daughter's wedding. She is never going to forget this. Your daughter has always said you favor your SD, well done for proving once and for all, that is the case. Yep, I don't see original poster having much of a relationship with his bio daughter from here on out. Hope that first wedding reception was worth it. You're the butthole. You just proved to your daughter that you do love your stepdaughter more. You walked her down the aisle, were there and looking awake for the pictures, and stuck around for the reception. Your stepdaughter's reception was more important to you than walking your daughter down the aisle. If your daughter was that important to you, you wouldn't have given an F about other people's opinions and you would have left right after the ceremony. Giving her some money after the fact doesn't change that. He could have even stayed for some of the reception. First dance usually is around 7 to 8 p.m., so he stayed 2 to 3 hours past that. Total butthole. Why are original poster's first words, "My daughter has always been resentful"? Why aren't his first words, "I'm heartbroken I didn't walk my daughter down the aisle"? Cause he favors stepdaughter and doesn't regret that he didn't walk his daughter down the aisle. At no point in the entire post does he seem disappointed in missing her ceremony, he is just not happy that daughter is mad about it. But how could something like this happen? Do your daughter and SD not speak at all? Who chose the date first? How could you get so lost with GPS? And how was there so much traffic on a Sunday morning? I get that you were up against it, but considering your daughter had this issue with you and SD for your whole lives together, I would have left earlier and definitely made it happen somehow. What time was SD's reception done? I guess I'd say everyone sucks here at this point. I think your daughter set you up on a prove to me I'm important to you test. And while it was terribly unfair to you, you needed to make that happen. Your absence cracked your relationship greatly. You're the butthole. Why not leave earlier and fly so you knew you would be there early? I don't think you meant to prioritize your SD, but you kind of did do it. Family therapy might help open everyone's eyes, and maybe without realizing it you might have prioritized your SD for a while. Gentle, you're the butthole. The compromise here was not to attend both weddings but to attend both ceremonies. Your daughter wanted you to walk her down the aisle. Leaving after your stepdaughter's ceremony would have made that more possible. You could have foregone both receptions to keep it fair. If you have the means, offering to host/attend the rehearsal dinner for your stepdaughter and an after-wedding brunch for your daughter would have been a nice gesture and shown that you wanted to be with them. You're the butthole. Sorry, you are definitely between a rock and a hard place, but you should have been there for your daughter no matter what. You failed her and you fanned the flames. You're the butthole. She will never forget this. Woman shrugging. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.